Hello guys, I've got a 2400 Warhammer Fantasy Battle Report here for you today with the High Elves against the new Dwarf book. So we're going to be giving the Dwarves a try, seeing what the new book has given them. So I'll give you a quick overview of the board and then we'll go on to the army lists real quick. Okay, so for the High Elves we have a fairly standard army. We've got Phoenix Guard and White Lion blocks with lots of support elements. I've got an Archmage on level 4, Lore of Light, who got Shems, Va, Net, and Banishment. The rest of it you can go ahead and pause and read if you'd like. But the Dwarves are the new bit, so we'll spend a little bit more time on them. So my opponent brought a Runesmith, a Thane BSB, and then 3 combat blocks, Longbeards, Warriors, and Hammerers. He's got 3 gyrocopters, a cannon, 5 slayers, 2 flame cannons, one which is strength 6. That would be particularly nasty against my light elves. And then finally he's got 14 iron drakes. And the iron drakes are the new dwarf shooting unit, if you're unfamiliar. They're very similar to longbeards, except they're also armed with strength 5 flaming ranged weapons. So not particularly good ballistic skill, but very high strength for ranged weapons. And it would be really interesting to see how they got on. So other points of note: the Runesmith has the Silver Horn of Vengeance, which gives everybody within 6 inches devastating charge for 1 turn, so he could really make his combat blocks really scary if he ended up getting off the charge. And then the BSB had the rune that gave him a 4-up ward save, and then everyone within 6 inches got a 5-up ward against shooting and magic, so that's what they have there. Other than that, the other stuff is just standard. 1 unit of Longbeards could Vanguard because of the Strollaz rune, and the Hammers had the rune that gave them +2 to Dispel. So that was one of the things we noticed straight away, is that Dwarves don't have very much in the way of magic defense anymore. So this Master rune was very important for my opponent for being able to keep it contained at least partially on the magic phase. So into deployment. On my left flank, I have a Bolt Thrower on the hill, along with 5 Reavers, my block of Phoenix Guard, and my 10 Sisters. Moving towards the center, I've got my 18 Archers behind the hedge there, right next to my White Lions, which my Archmage joined. And then my my Dragon Princes you can start to see on this picture with my BSB. And then on my right flank, there's the rest of the Dragon Princes, the Archers next to the Silver Helms, and the Weavers next to them. And then on the far right, there's another Bolt Thrower, which is out of shot, but yeah, one more Bolt Thrower over there. And then on my opponent's side, this is my right, his left, there are 3 gyrocopters, 2 of which are being proxied by Warhawk Riders. Then we have the Warriors next to the Flame Cannon, next to, moving towards my opponent's center, the Hammerers, which you can see are right next to the Slayers, and then to the left of them are the Longbeards with the Runesmith. Yeah, the Runesmith's there on the right-hand corner of the Longbeards, and the BSB's on the left-hand corner of the Hammerers. And then back in the forest there's a normal Dwarf Cannon, and then to the left of the Longbeards there's the second Flame Cannon, and this is the one that has the strength 6. And my opponent put this one here because the White Lions would get a 2-up ward save against the shots from it since they were magical. So he put this one on the side with the Phoenix Guard, and he put the non-magical one against the White Lions, which is smart. And then to the far left, my far left, there's the Iron Drakes getting ready to move behind or move into the building on the first turn. So my opponent vanguarded up his Longbeards with the Strollaz rune, but I was able to steal the first turn. So all my units basically pushed forward. Now I knew from past experiences that the Phoenix Guard were very likely to be able to kill the Hammers, so I wanted to see what would happen if I brought them into the Longbeards and took the White Lions into the Hammers instead. I wanted to see what that matchup might look like. So I brought the Phoenix Guard basically straight forward, and the White Lions did mostly the same thing. You can also see the Sisters moved up a little bit, and the Archers behind the hedge, they also moved up a little bit, but they're just off the shot here. So, and then on my right hand side, the Reavers with their Vanguard movement and their regular movement are able to move right up the side to hopefully threaten some gyrocopters or prevent their movement a little bit. And then all the other knights just sort of move forward, a little reserved, but not too far. Didn't want to get charged by any long charge warriors getting a little cagey, so I took it slow, and I'm going to look for trying to get a combo charge with both the units into the unit of warriors on this flank. And then we go to Magic, and my opponent flubs his first Dispel roll against Banishment. I think he rolls like a 5 with with 3 dice against my like 10 or 12, and then with casting bonuses it made it even higher. So wasn't able to stop the banishment. I think that killed the first gyrocopter, and then between shooting and the remaining magic, I'm able to take off the second one. So the proxies are gone. From here on out, the gyrocopters are proper gyrocopters. So made it easy enough, and I was happy enough with the outcome there for a first turn of shooting. And we go to Dwarf turn 1. So everything sort of moves back and shuffles a little bit. The Longbeards on the left, they move back to make the charge a lot longer for the Phoenix Guard. The Slayers come up to hopefully get misdirecting opportunities in the future. The Hammerers, they just sort of shift a little bit, turn to face the white lines a little better. And the Warriors on the right, they move back so that the Cavalry would need a 9, 10, 11 charge into them. So makes it unfeasible for me to really charge this turn, so I'm going to have to wait at least another turn before I get into charge. And the gyrocopter comes forward into the trees, passes this dangerous terrain check, and it gets ready to both misdirect and flame template into the white lions. So that's what you're seeing there. And on the far left, the Iron Drakes walk into the building as predicted. And we go into shooting. First thing that happens, the Iron Drakes open fire, kill those 5 Reavers. And this is at the point where I realized that I should have put these Reavers on the other side along with all the other cav, because that way I could bring them to bear against his war machines on the same turn, rather than bringing them to bear one turn after another, so that he's going to be able to pick off 1 unit of Reavers every turn. So a little bit of a mistake on my side, and my opponent was able to capitalize on it. So that was good for him. And we go to shooting with the flame cannons, and you can see the flame cannon right next to the building, the strength 6 one. It opens up and it gets a direct hit on the Phoenix Guard, and he gets 12 hits. I think he fails 1 or 2 of them, and I save about half. So I ended up losing 5 Phoenix Guard, but really starting to see how powerful the dwarf shooting can be. And I think flame cannons are going to be a new choice instead of organ guns, especially with organ guns now needing to roll the hit, since they can be very devastating. Strength 6 flame templates are no joke at all. So that's what you're seeing there. On the hill, his cannon takes aim at my bolter and takes it out, which is expected. And then, yeah, this is the partial hit from a flame cannon, and the gyrocopter open up on my right lions, and he kills 9 of them. And that was, I think, fortunate for me. His flame cannon overshot me by quite a bit, and I think he only hit 6 or 7 with it instead of the 12 or 13 he could have. So I was happy enough with that, and then his gyrocopter combined was able to take out a few more. So really looking bad for the High Elves already. I mean, if he can take off another rank of these guys, they're not going to be able to deal with the Hammers even in the slightest. So hopefully I can get into combat here soon, so to keep them alive and out of the dwarven shooting. So we go to High Elf turn 2, and I obviously charge the gyrocopter with the lions. And the Reavers over here, they tried to charge the flame cannon because my opponent moved the warriors back, so they opened up an arc for me, and I needed like an 8 or a 9, but unfortunately just could not get it with the Reavers, even with swift stride. So unfortunate there, but it happens. Then the Silver Helms and the Dragon Princes, they both move forward a little bit more. This turn, I knew it was going to be a long charge for the warriors, so I just moved up. This following turn, it's going to be very, very easy for me to get those charges, I feel. So looking good on that side. And the Phoenix Guard charge into the Longbeards. This was good because I needed like a 9 to get into here, because his Longbeards had moved back. So I was really happy with them being able to get in, and I felt fairly confident that they could take on the Longbeards. So that was good there. We go to magic and shooting, and it's mostly a wash. I think I do a couple wounds here and there, but it's nothing worth noting. And the White Lions casually clean up the gyrocopter. And in the combat with the Phoenix Guard, yeah, the Phoenix Guard really pull out all the breaks here. They pull out tons of attacks. I think I hit with almost all my attacks, all but 1 attack, and I wound with 13, 14, something like that. And he loses 9 warriors, even with the new Dwarven Shield Wall ability. So he got +1 to his parry save. He was with 5 up parry saves, and he still lost 9 warriors. So that was really good for me. I did lose a few Phoenix Guard in return, but I win combat, he's steadfast, and everything sticks around. So looking good on this flank. And we go to Dwarf turn 2, and this move surprised me. He took the Iron Drakes out of the building, and he put them facing the rear of the Phoenix Guard. Now, I didn't even think that this was something he'd consider. I thought he'd just sit in the building and he'd shoot my sisters and shoot my archers and get their points that way. But he decided to bring them out, use them as a combat unit this game, and that sort of threw me for a loop. Now, as you can see, the sisters are in the shot there, and they look like they're close enough that they should be able to wheel around and misdirect the Iron Drakes. So I wasn't too worried about it, but it was still a good move on my opponent's part and something that I should have really been aware of, even though I wasn't. So that's what's happening on this flank. And we go to the other flank. Now the Dwarf Warriors, they saw that the white lions in the trees, they could see their flank. So he moved up, just decided to say heck with it and let the knights all charge in to the warriors, and this way he prevented the lions from getting a medium to long range charge into their flank and just wiping them out in a single round of combat. So it was a good move here. He also simultaneously blocks the reavers into the flame cannon, and he gave both the dragon princes and the silver helms his front. So wasn't going to be able to get any flank charges as I had hoped, at least not this turn. So pretty good, about as best as could be hoped for from my Dwarvish opponent. In the center, the hammerers move a little bit, and the slayers come forward to mess around with the sisters, and hopefully prevent them from messing with the Iron Drakes in future turns. So that's what's happening there. We go to Dwarf shooting, and his flame cannon opens up at the lions, and again he overshoots, and he only gets like 4 or 5, and that ends up killing 3 white lions. So I really lucked out there. I mean, he could have done massive damage, especially after I reformed killing the gyrocopter. I went for more full complete ranks and a tighter formation. So if he'd gotten a direct hit that turn, that would have been the end of that unit. So really happy there. We go into combat. Yeah, Phoenix Guard lost no casualties on my side, and I was able to kill 3 dwarves in return. So that was great. He's steadfast, he's 6 rounds of course, but winning combats is always good, and that's how it looks at the end of turn 2. So we go to turn 3, and the white lions charge the flame cannon. I'm set up so that I can overrun into the hammers in the following turn, or at the end of the turn rather, and the silver helms comes crashing in with the BSB into the warriors. So the dragon princes decided not to charge because everything would be on his front. I wouldn't have gotten that many attacks, so I moved the dragon princes through the woods. They just walk through the woods to get a really easy side charge next turn, and the silver helms go into the front there, and I'm hoping that the BSP can sort of carry their weight a little bit and hopefully tip the combat in my favor until the dragon princes can come in. So that's the right flank and center. On the left flank, yeah, so I was going to move the sisters up to misdirect the Iron Drakes, right? And they failed their march check, rolling an 11. So I'm like, okay, they moved up a little bit, they got an arc so that they could still shoot at him. It's going to be okay. I've got 18 archers, I've got 10-ish sisters left, I've got a bolt thrower. Should be enough. Lots of it is at close range, lots of strength 4 shots, should be able to at least whittle down the Iron Drakes. And then the archers fail their swift reform. So yeah, so I'm going to be able to shoot with 10 sisters and a bolt thrower, and not the 18 archers. So not looking very good here for me on this flank. And yeah, with shooting and magic, I kill 1 Iron Drake, and I am able to get the net off on him in the magic phase. He can't stop it because I think he's stopping Foz instead, and hopefully, if he rolls a 5 or 6, stopping him from completing that charge. But it's not looking good over here, and it looks like the Phoenix Guard are going to have to take the rear charge from the Iron Drakes. There's not much I can do about it, so really unfortunate on that side. And on the right side we go to combat, and I kill 3 dwarves. I lose a silver helm for my troubles. It's not as bad as it could have been, not as great as it could have been either, but everything sticks around, so I'm happy enough with that. If they can hold on one more turn, the dragon princes should be able to clean up. And over here I kill the flame cannon and I overrun into the hammerers. Okay, and then this is the combat, and now this phase was another really good phase for me. I kill 5 more dwarves, even with his parries. It's not the 5-up parry anymore, it's just a normal 6-up. But I lose 2 Phoenix Guard in return, but this turn he's not steadfast, and he needs a 6 to stick around and he gets a 5 on his reroll with the BSB. So there was my last chance to avoid the Iron Drake charge, but looks like it's not meant to be, in that the Iron Drakes are definitely going to get in. So it is what it is. We go to Dwarf turn 3, and that's exactly what happens. The Iron Drakes charge into the rear of the Phoenix Guard. The Slayers charge into the flank of the Sisters, just to hold them up. And we go into shooting. The Dwarven Flame Cannon takes aim at the Reavers who had come around the White Lions and Hammers. This is from my opponent's side of the board, obviously. And he's able to kill 4, but not the final one. So, going to prevent me from charging the cannon in the trees, but still, they're going to be able to hold on to their points. So if I don't talk about it later, that's where he's gone. He's gone to hide behind a building or conserve his points. So, and then we go into combat, and over here I'm able to kill 7 dwarves between the Iron Drakes and the Longbeards, which is great for me, but he's able to kill 6 of the Phoenix Guard, which was unfortunate to say the least. So I end up losing combat. It's not by much, I think it's by 3, and I need a 6 to stay well outside the BSB reroll, and I get it. I get my 6. So that was really fortunate on their part. I'm able to hold this flank for a little bit longer, and it's not going to give him free reign to help out the White Lion combat. So happy enough with that. And in the White Lion Hammer combat, I come in, I kill 7 or 8 dwarves. Yeah, it looks like 8 dwarves, and I lose 6 White Lions in return. So fairly good trade, but he's just got too many bodies for me to deal with at this point. I think it's a foregone conclusion that the White Lions are not long for this world. So that's what's happening there. And then now we go to High Elf turn 4, and the Dragon Princes come charging into the side, and hopefully going to be able to relieve the Silver Helms a little bit. I also didn't mention at the end of combat with the Slayers and the Sisters, nothing much happens. We both just reform to face, so that's what happened there. Here you can also see the Reavers has moved off, and it's just going to go and try and hide and conserve his points. Yeah, so there's a picture of the reform, and the archers come marching up to see if they can help with the Iron Drake combat. So hopefully one of the units, the Sisters or the archers, should be able to get in and help relieve the Phoenix Guard, who are holding on so well. So if they can hold on a turn or two more, then they'll be able to get some relief. So that's the plan there. And magic, in this turn, I decide that everything's in combat. You can just see to the right there, I've got a card laid down. I decide everything's in combat, and I'm going to pick up 5 dice and chuck it at Foz, the bubble version, and I get it off irresistibly. So everything gets -1 to hit, so the Phoenix Guard, the White Lions, and the Dragon Princes all get the buff. They were all within range. And so that's going to be great for me, hopefully help keep my Phoenix Guard alive longer. But unfortunately, I got the power drain, so my wizard loses 3 wizard levels, including that spell, which really hurts. I was actually hoping for some sort of dimensional cascade or anomaly to come and help me with the hammer combat, but unfortunately didn't get that to turn out. But I did get my spell off, so it's an okay trade for me. So in the combat, I end up only losing 1 Phoenix Guard, and I kill 3 Iron Drakes, which ends up winning me the combat, which was great. The Foz protection really helped out this turn. So that was great. He lost by 1 or 2. Everything stacked though because he was within range of the BSB. We go to the Hammer combat. Yeah, even with Foz, not nearly as helpful over here. I lose 6, he loses 7, but looks like White Lions have got one more turn left in them, and then they're going to be done. So unfortunate, but it is what it is. Right hand side, Silver Helms and Dragon Princes. So the Dragon Princes come in, they kill 5, I think, but unfortunately the Helms and the BSB sort of flub a bit. I think I kill 1 with the BSB and nothing else there. So I was hoping to stop them from being steadfast this turn, but it looks like I'm going to need at least 1 more round of combat. So is what it is, but hopefully I'll be in time to help out the White Lion combat. We'll see. So we go to Dwarf turn 4, and everything's in combat, so we go to shooting, and his flame cannon opens up at the archers, and he gets a direct hit, and he kills a whole bunch, like 8 or 9, and they panic and run. So there's half my plan gone for helping out the Iron Drakes, helping out with the Iron Drakes rather, and it's going to come down to whether or not the Sisters can hopefully tip the combat, because these guys aren't going to be able to help out. Not a great showing from them this game. So, and in the central combat, the White Lions get mopped up by the Hammers, and the Archmage goes ahead and flees. He takes 2 wounds from one of the hammers, but he's not able to be killed, and when the hammers pursue, they're not able to catch him. So as best as could have been hoped for. He got all the White Lion points, but the Archmage got away. 1 wound left. Hopefully it'll be enough. And the hammers are getting low to the point where if I clean up on the right hand side, I should be able to hopefully get them and get their points. And that's exactly what happens. The warriors get below steadfast this turn. I'm able to break them. The Dragon Prince's turn to face the hammers, and the Silver Helms try and pursue the warriors, but the warriors uncharacteristically move 10 or 11 inches, and they're able to avoid the helms for this turn at least. So next turn will be my turn, so I'll be able to charge them off, but I had hoped for getting both units of knights into the hammers, but it looks like I'd have to settle for 1, so that worked out as well as could be hoped, though. In the Phoenix Guard and Longbeard combat, I think it's pretty much an equal combat. Whatever happens is, I think everything sticks around. I think I do a wound or 2, and he does a wound, but it's fairly simple. Oh, there's a picture of it. So in my turn 5, I charge the hammers with the Dragon Princes in the side, and the sisters come in to try and help out with the Phoenix Guard Longbeard combat. And I get into the rear of the Iron Drake, so hopefully I'll be able to tip combat res, if nothing else, to the point where he's no longer steadfast, and I can break everything down. So that's the plan there. The Wizard rallied, which I was very thankful for. And the Silver Helms on the right-hand side, they chased off the Dwarf Warriors, which was great. The Archers rallied, which was also great, saving their points. And in combat, yeah, we did nothing. Nobody did anything to each other. So all those sisters, all those Phoenix Guard, everything into the Iron Drakes, no wounds caused. I think he lost by 1, but everything stuck. Really disappointed. In combat over here, the Dragon Prince champion, the Drake Master, he gets, I think, in a challenge with the Hammerer champion, and the Drake Master finishes him off. The Dragon Princes, they do a couple wounds to the Hammerers, but he fails his Swift Reform check, or his Reform check, so he's just stuck like that, which was fine by me. So we go to Dwarf turn 5, and everything's in combat, so we go to shooting. His cannon takes aim at my BSB and his helm unit, and because I'm below 5 helms, he's able to take out the BSB and 2 helms as well. So unfortunate, but I'm happy to trade the BSB for that whole block of warriors, and because the last helm is alive, at least I'm going to be saving some of the points. So there's that. The flame cannon on this side finally gets the obligatory misfire of the game when playing with artillery, and decides to blow itself up, which I really appreciated. And in combat, yeah, I do no wounds again. Oops. In combat here, I do no wounds again. I do all the sister attacks, all the Phoenix Guard attacks into the Iron Drakes. No one dies, but he's able to kill all 3 of my Phoenix Guards. So that was really, really unfortunate. It is his turn, so I'll get to go next, so at least he's not going to be charging me too soon, but the Iron Drakes are still there, the sisters stick around. Really disappointed on this side. So we go to High Elves turn 6, and the archers who have been marching up to get into combat, they go ahead and charge the side of the warriors, which I didn't show in the last combat, had tried to attack the Dragon Princes. Dragon Princes killed a few more, and the Hammerers were able to swift reform this turn, so they turn to face the Dragon Princes, and the archers in my turn go ahead and charge their flank, which is as you can see it, so hopefully be able to take our last 2 Hammerers, get those 450 odd points, which would be great. But in order to do that, as you can see, the Archmage had to charge the Iron Drakes, which I was really nervous about because only 1 wound left. He's charging a Dwarf Longbeard essentially, so that was going to be iffy there. Hopefully I could make up for the combat of the last 2 turns with the sisters, so we'll have to see there. We go to magic and shooting, and it's both a wash because my wizard's level 1, and shooting everything's pretty much in combat, or they're out of line of sight or something for my bolt thrower. And we go to combat, and no one does any wounds. I was amazed. All the archers, all the Dragon Princes, no one dies. And he, of course, sticks around because he's stubborn. I was really disappointed on this side. That was my chance. That was my chance to get those points back. So But on this side, that everything worked out well. The Archmage went in along with the sisters, and I'm able to kill the 3 Iron Drakes. So we made up for the last couple rounds of combat, which was great. No casualties inflicted in return, and yeah, got those points, which worked out perfectly. So we go to Dwarf turn 6, last turn of the game. The Longbeards, they charge the flank of the archers, and that's what you can see there. The cannon is also taking a pot shot at the wizard, and he hits, he wounds, and at the last moment, a sister runs out and saves my general's life. So really happy that I made my lookout sir there. Worked out great. Able to save those 400 points. So she did quite well there. Earned her points. So happy enough with that. And we go to combat, and I'm able to kill the last 2 hammerers. You can notice here that we did move the Longbeard slightly incorrectly. They should have been down 2 models so that he would have gotten 2 more attacks. But as it was, it wouldn't have made any difference because I lost combat. Everything was steadfast. Everything passed its check. I was able to kill the 2 hammerers, which was perfect. He killed a couple archers, but everything stuck around. So that was the end of the game. In the final turn, I was able to kill both the Iron Drakes and the Hammerers, so that was a nice point swing to me. So we added up the points, and it was by a small margin, High Elf victory. So I had lost the Noble BSB, 1 unit of Reavers, 24 Phoenix Guard, 27 White Lions, and the Bolt Thrower, and my opponent had lost the Block of Warriors, the Block of Hammers, all 3 Gyrocopters, the Slayers, both Flame Cannons, and the Iron Drakes. So it still worked out with bonuses and everything to be very, very close. It was a 300-point victory for the High Elves, and it was a really, really fun game, really, really close. I think men of the match for me have to be the Phoenix Guard because they should not have held on that long against a front and a rear charge. And because they did, I think I was able to pull out the minor victory. Had they lost even 1 or 2 more guys earlier and broken and fled, that would have been the end of the game there, I think. So it was nice to see that the game went all the way to the end, and I was able to get a victory out of it. For the Dwarves, we talked a little bit about what they did well and what they didn't, and what we felt the army could do, and the possibilities for improvement. And we felt the flame cannons were really, really good for most matchups. But that unfortunately my opponent gotten really unlucky with how far the bounces had gone. Because if he had gotten 1 or 2 more flame templates from the gyrocopters or flame cannon hits, it would have been a very, very different game. So with a little bit of unluckiness on the dwarf artillery side and a little bit of luck on the high elf phoenix guard side, I was able to pull it out by the skin of my teeth. So that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.